The rain drummed against the stained glass windows of St. Matthew's Church, casting fractured colors across the mourners dressed in black. The pews were full. The air hung heavy with grief and the scent of lilies. Pastor Green's voice echoed through the hall, speaking of a man named Thomas Miller, a father, a husband, a soldier, a man everyone believed was dead. In the front row, Anna sat with swollen eyes, clutching a folded photograph of Thomas in uniform. Beside her, their teenage son Eli stared blankly ahead, jaw clenched. The family had been told Thomas died overseas 2 years ago. His body was never recovered, only a letter from the government and a closed coffin sent home. But Thomas Miller never died. 2 years earlier, Thomas's unit was ambushed in a remote region. Everyone was killed. He woke days later in a village home, bandaged and broken. The villagers who saved him spoke no English. Communication lines were destroyed. He had no ID, no way to contact his base. When he finally reached a refugee camp months later, exhausted and traumatized, no one believed him. His name wasn't on any living roster. Officially, he was already dead. He was a ghost. It took 2 years of bureaucratic nightmares and desperate pleas before he made it home. But when he arrived, his world had vanished. The house was sold, his family had moved. His death certificate made his existence legally erased. Then he discovered his own funeral was scheduled for Sunday morning. Something inside him broke, but he decided to go. The church doors creaked open mid-eulogy. Pastor Green stopped. Heads turned. The air froze. Thomas stood in the doorway, drenched from rain, gaunt and exhausted, eyes hollow but unmistakably alive. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Eli dropped his program. Anna rose slowly, trembling. "Thomas?" He nodded. Chaos erupted. Some thought it was a cruel prank. Others whispered about ghosts. Thomas walked forward, boots echoing in the stunned silence. He stared at the coffin bearing his name, his photograph, and quietly said, "I didn't die. I just couldn't find my way home." Anna rushed toward him, sobbing, but stopped short. A man in the back row, David, watched silently. Her new husband. The impossible truth settled over the room like snow. Eli broke the spell. He ran to his father, tears streaming, shouting, "Dad!" They collapsed into each other. But Anna stood frozen between two lives, two loves, two impossible choices. Days later, Thomas sat alone in a motel room, staring out at the town that had buried him. Reporters swarmed outside. To the world, he was a miracle. To his family, he was a wound reopened. He visited the cemetery where his empty coffin lay. The inscription read, "Gone, but never forgotten." He placed a flower there and whispered, "You forgot me, but I never forgot you." Walking away, his voice carried on the wind, weary but strangely peaceful. Sometimes the hardest part about coming home is realizing home moved on without you. But maybe that's how love survives, not in the place, but in the people who remember who you were. The church bells rang again as he walked down the quiet street, the same bells that tolled for his funeral. But this time they sounded different, not like a farewell, like a beginning. What would you do in Anna's position? Comment below. I read every comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that will break your heart and put it back together.